Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I'm so glad that you clicked on this video. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jenny. I am a reseller. What my business looks like is I go to thrift stores, I buy inexpensive but high quality clothes and I sell them online for a profit. For me, that's eBay, and I cross-list to Poshmark. And this past week, I turned $53 in thrift store finds into $539.91. So stick around. I'm going to go over with you what my listings look like. And for each listing, I'll share with you what my actual profit was out of each sale. I do videos like this at least once a week and other types of videos as well. So if you're new, I hope that you will subscribe, stick around, and maybe something that I have to say about the wonderful world of reselling will help you along your journey. So before we get into this past week's sales, let me just tell you what my mess is behind me today, because it's always something different. This is, yesterday my boys had basketball practice for like an hour and a half. So that gave me an hour at a thrift store that's like 5 minutes down the road. I was like, it's either I sit here in this parking lot and scroll on my phone or go try to find something that I can make some money off of. So this is the pile that I picked up in an hour. I want to know if you guys think this would be helpful. Thrift hauls are not usually my favorite type of video. I like watching them. I just don't feel like they're as helpful when I'm trying to learn what type of clothing, what brands sell well. But I thought maybe I could go over these. It would be my little type of thrift haul. Show you what I picked up, tell you why I picked up each piece, but maybe take it a step further and show you how I look up each piece and figure out what to price it, what to title it as, how to list it. That actually may be a very long video. I may have to break that up into 2 videos. But do you guys think that would be helpful? Let me know. Or are you a fan? Like, honestly, tell me if you are different than me and you just love watching thrift haul videos where people show you what they've picked up and maybe tell you why they picked it up and that's all that you want to see, then that would be great. That would be an easy video for me to make. So tell me that too. So I want to be helpful to y'all. So let me know. I can't wait to show y'all that stuff. Either way, I want to show you what I did get to pick up in an hour. This is my pile of weekend sales. Do you guys do this? So I try to stack, I'm so weird. I stack everything up and try to see how high I can get it, like as it's selling throughout the week. And then also, like when Chase walks in, he's like, ooh, look at those packages. And I'm like, I like when he compliments me. Anyways, so that's what my mess is today. It always changes, but it's usually a pile of clothes somewhere. And one more thing before I get into this week's sales. My goal, my first big goal for YouTube is 1,000 subscribers. I checked before I hit the record button on this video and I was at 197. I've got a ways to go. If you haven't subscribed yet, I hope that you will hit that subscribe button. That'll help me reach my goal. And then also, if you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, you'll be notified every time I release a new video. All right, let's get into last week's sales. All right, first. For Cynthia, women's 3X jacket, blue, green, color block, swing, plus size, button. It took 177 days to sell. I bought it for $3.15 at a local thrift store. I listed it for $39. I accepted an offer on Poshmark of $25. That gave me a profit of $16.85. Next, bell sleeves are selling for me like crazy right now. I don't know, I'm just coming across a ton of them or if they're just super popular, but I would recommend that if you have a bell sleeve, that if you have room in the title, stick that word in there. All right, Catherine's 1X 1820W red, black, beaded top, blouse, Whimsy Goth pleats, bell sleeve. This only took 8 days to sell. I paid $3.99 for it. I listed it for $25. I accepted an offer on eBay of $18.79 and that gave me a profit of $11.79. Y'all, I could have held out longer and probably got my full asking price of $25, but this week was a good week, but it followed the week prior. It ended up being a good week, but the first part of the week before, it was like crickets. And then I had a really good weekend that made up for it, but I was like still in that mode of accept low offers, just get a sale. But I'm not mad about it. I got a profit. All right, next, Quacker Factory. I shared with you guys that Quacker Factory usually sells pretty well for me. I did share with y'all that I had a dragonfly jacket that had sat in my closet for far too long, and look, it finally sold. So this was brand new, Quacker Factory, but now that I look at it, like, I do think that it takes a very specific buyer to come across this and want it, because it's a very springy piece, but it's a black jacket. So I know they're going to get it and they're going to love it. But I do think it was just waiting on that specific buyer to come and snatch it up. All right, I titled it Quacker Factory Women's Large Dragonfly Zip-Up Jacket, Embroidered Beaded Black. It took 227 days to sell. I paid $4.15 for it. I had originally listed it for $29, and this was the only offer I ever got on it in that 227 days. So even though it was only $11, I was like, yes, please take this jacket. So that gave me a profit of $4. All right, next, Lola P woman size 5X maxi dress, boho floral, high waist, short sleeve, long flowy. Here's your Lola P tag. I had never heard of it, but when I looked it up to run comps, Lola P dresses were selling for pretty high. So Lola P is a good one. I had it for 55 days. I did list this during the colder months. I don't think it would have sat near as long, but I got it for $1.49 at the Goodwill outlet, and I listed it for $39. The buyer sent me an offer for $25 and I accepted it. It gave me a profit of $18.81. All right, next. Patagonia Women's Medium. Margot was the style name. Margot dress, organic cotton, casual, green, blue, beachy, outdoor. This sold in 7 days. I paid $2.50 for it at a half price day at one of my favorite thrift stores. I listed it for $25. I thought I would be listing it for higher, but when I ran comps, I knew if I wanted to sell it, I had to price it competitively. And I did accept an $18 offer from the buyer. It gave me a profit of $12. I actually just got a message today from this buyer, and it always makes my heart drop just a little bit when I get a message right after I know I've shipped something out. But she just said, I just opened my package and I love it. Thank you so much. So I do right now have in my eBay store all of my winter stuff on, what did I put it on this morning? 35% off. So that's how this one came to be. Because it's a super cute sweater. I just need the space. But it was listed for 102 days. I paid $4 for it. I initially listed it for $25. I sent out a $17 offer. I thought the buyer sent it, but I sent that. And that gave me a profit of $9.60. Okay, Roar. I have sold this brand a couple of times. And I think they're just so cute. Right here it says some kind of positive thought. I can't remember exactly what that says. It says, enough excuses, get it done passionately. I just thought that was the neatest little touch. It was right there inside of the little button placket thing. Anyways, I titled it Roar Women's Large Black Button Shirt, Embroidered, Embellished, Western Rhinestone Y2K. And there's your Roar tag. It sold in 48 days. I paid $3 for it. I originally listed it for $29. I accepted they accepted my $23.20 offer. That gave me a profit of $15.89. Okay, these came from my mama. She had found them at a yard sale. When I looked them up, they were originally $102. So OTBT is the brand, and I found out that stands for Off the Beaten Path. Off the Beaten Trek. Something like that. It's not path though, it's a T. And tell me what you guys do in this situation. They were used. You could tell the bottom was used, and there's wear right there on the insole. The box came with it at the yard sale, and so Mom gave me the box, and I listed the box in the listing. But for a used pair of shoes, I kind of feel like the box is not that great of a selling point. So I think next time that happens, if that happens again where I have a pair of used shoes with the box, I probably will not list the box with it, because I have to put it in an even bigger box to ship it, so it costs me more to ship, and costs them more to ship too, because I do calculated shipping. Let me know what you guys do. Anyways, I titled these OTBT, $102 women's 7M cottagecore boho Mary Jane flats neutral brown Kalamazoo was the style name. I had them for 164 days. I did list them during the colder months. I probably wouldn't have sat that long. I didn't have any money into them because of my sweet mama. I listed them for $35. I sent a $25 offer, and the buyer accepted that, giving me a $19.22 profit. Next, these could have sold for double what I sold these for, but again, I was still in that mode of get some sales after the week that I had last week, but it was still a pretty good profit. So these are called Lacrosse men's size 14 Trekker 7-inch waterproof leather short work boots, snow pull-on. They sat for 57 days. I paid $1.29 for them at the Goodwill outlet, and these are heavy shoes, so I'll tell you about that in just a second. I listed them for $60. I sent an offer to someone for $39, and they accepted, and they gave me a profit of $30.69. So at the Goodwill bins, or Goodwill outlet as it's really called, but we refer to it as the bins a lot, you pay by the pound. So these shoes were really, really heavy, so I wasn't sure. It's like at mine it's $2 and something per pound. I wasn't really sure how much it would be, so I took them up to the sweet lady that works there and I said, how much would these be if I bought them? I'm not sure I want them because they're kind of heavy. And she was like, oh, I'll just put that in as a kitchen utensil or some kitchen tool or something. So anyways, ended up only costing me $1.29. If I had paid by the pound, they would have been, I want to say she said over $10 or maybe like $9. But anyways, I was grateful that she did that for me. I didn't even ask, didn't even know that was an option. But if you have a super heavy pair of shoes, just go ask them, how much will these be if I get them? And maybe they'll give you a little discount. All right, next is a big bolo. Y'all might have seen my YouTube short about this one. It was a little teaser. And I talked about it in last week's video too. Remember, it was sitting right here and I said, can y'all zoom in and guess what this is? Here's what it is. This plain looking Disney shirt. I was super excited when I found this and looked up comps in the store. It was one of those heart racing moments. But let me go through the pictures and I'll tell you about it. So vintage extra large 90s Walt Disney World 25th anniversary castle cake t-shirt, two-sided, and there's your tag. It's Mickey Inc., which apparently I didn't even fit in the title, but it didn't matter. There's all your pictures. It says that was then, this is now. So I was super pumped about this because there were like 5 or 6 of them that day when I ran comps that had sold for $100 to $150. And so when I got it home and I found a stain on it, I was so upset. But I'm just being dramatic. I wasn't really that upset. I mean, I'm always bummed when I find a stain on something, especially when it's something this big. But I tried to get it out. It didn't come out. It was very faint. In fact, it looked like it was probably just like an extension of one of these clouds, but I could tell like the print of it stopped at this point and the stain was way over here. So I did disclose that in the title. I mean, it's ever so slight, but it's there. It was just a yellow stain. So I knew mine weren't going to go for as much because there were others listed, but I did decide to go ahead and list it high and just see what happened. Because I don't think at that time, I don't think there were any more in this size. But Disney is interesting, and I've learned so much. There is so much to learn about Disney shirts for the resellers, because some of them were sold at Walmart and you may not sell them for $5, and some of them like this that look like they were sold at Walmart were actually a huge deal. So if you find a Disney shirt and it has an interesting tag, if it says Disney Spirit jersey, that's definitely worth one. Definitely worth picking up, probably, but definitely look it up. If it says some sort of Disney parks, Disney World or Disneyland or whatever, sometimes it just says Disney Parks or Disney Resort, or now we know Mickey Inc. is one. Anyways, Disney is interesting. There's a lot to learn. And okay, so this sat for 18 days. I did immediately get a $45 offer when I posted it. And I was like, it's got a stain. Is anybody going to offer me more? But then since it was so soon, I was like, I'm going to stick it out and see what happens. So I'm glad that I did. I only paid $2 for it at a half price sale at one of my favorite thrift stores. I did list it for $150 because I was going to see what happened. I knew I'd come down if I needed to. But someone sent me a $78 offer. And I was like, yes, I'm so excited. Even with the stain. So that gave me a $65.80 profit on this t-shirt. This may be the biggest t-shirt sale that I've had. I think it is. All right. I don't want to move on, but we're going to. All right, I titled this one New Lauren Ralph Lauren Large Silk Cotton Button Top Belt Tie Orange Luxury Money. I would have put old money, but it didn't fit. It was in my closet for 50 days. I paid $6.15. I listed it high for $60, and someone sent me a $40 offer. I took it. That gave me a profit of $27.23. Next, Talbot's Women's Large Popover Tunic Top Shirt Button Pink Spring Minimalist Preppy. I love Talbot's. I've sold a lot of Talbot's. That may be one of my biggest sellers. I come across it a good bit. It sat for 66 days. I paid $3 for it. I listed it for $28. I took a $21 offer. That gave me a profit of $14.84. This was only listed for a week. I titled it Chico's Travelers Woman's Size 12-14, Chico Size 2, Blue Long Maxi Dress, Sleeveless, Liquid Knit. I paid $2.99. I listed it for $35. I sent someone a $28 offer. They accepted. That gave me a profit of $19.41. Okay, these next two items sold in a bundle. If you saw my YouTube short, I tried this one on for the first time and I was kicking myself because I loved it and I didn't think it was my size, but it fit me perfectly. But anyways, it's going to a new home. But anyways, I love selling bundles, and sometimes I get carried away and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a lot of money. But then when I factor in that the cost of goods for 3 or 4 items or whatever, then my profit is like way lower than I wanted it to be. But I did good on this one. I went back and forth. I countered. She countered. She was real sweet to work with. And we reached a price that both of us could agree on. And I'm just going to share that with y'all. So this one was Chico's $129 women's large Chico size 2, 100% linen. We're getting into linen season, y'all. Button tunic, jacket, pockets, artsy blue. So this one I had for 53 days. I paid $4.15 for it, and I initially listed it for $44. I'll give you my sale price and profit and everything after I go over the other one. So the next item that she chose was this Rip Curl women's medium long sleeve maxi dress, cottagecore, boho, hippie, blue tiered North. I think North was the style name. There's your Rip Curl tag. She originally had 3 items in her bundle and I gave her a price. And then she's come back and left a comment on the bundle and said, oh, that one dress is shorter than I thought it was. I've taken that one out. Can you give me a price for these two? So I did. I don't know what the initial price was that I sent her, but she countered $55, I think, for these two items. And I came back with $66 and she accepted that. So I broke this. Oh, did I tell you I paid $6 for this dress initially and I listed it for $39. Total, she paid $66 for the bundle. So that gave me a total profit for the bundle of $42.65. I was happy with that. All right, last sale of the week is the lowest sale I've ever had. So, but I knew when I listed this, this was at a time when I wasn't super serious about doing this. I was just kind of like doing it for fun and then hadn't really decided like, hey, I think I can really make something of this. And this was in a pile of stuff that my sister had given me, so I have no money into it. So I was just still kind of practicing my listing skills and trying to figure out what sold well. And I knew people had said that Western and Aztec stuff did well, and I felt like that fell into both categories. But it didn't even have a brand tag in it. It was probably Shein or something. But I thought it was cute, and I thought this will be an item that somebody can throw into a bundle maybe. But it didn't sell in a bundle. Someone sent me an offer on eBay. I had no money into it. I initially listed it for $10. It sat for 218 days. And I took that person's $5 offer that they sent me because that was the only interest I had ever had on this shirt. That gave me a profit of $3.29. It's $3.29 I didn't have. Now buy me a coffee, maybe, if I get a real little one. But no, I'm grateful for all of it. Okay, so what do you guys think? Are you already a reseller? Are you thinking about getting started reselling? I told you I was going to tell you the profit that I was able to keep. So as I said, this was last week and I sold 16 things. 3 of those were on Poshmark, 13 were on eBay. If I'm looking at the sold price plus the shipping that the customer paid, that was a total of $539.91 after I take out my cost of goods and my shipping cost and eBay and Poshmark fees. And if I've promoted anything, which I rarely do, but I did have one item sale through a promoted listing, I take that out too. So that left me with a profit that week of $306.64. Not bad. I'm pretty happy with that. All right. I'll do another one of these next week and do something with these clothes for you guys to see soon. And I hope you guys are enjoying it. I appreciate every single like that you guys give me. All the comments just fill me with life. I love it, seriously. And I'm working on that 1,000 subscriber goal. Thank you so much for those of you who have already subscribed and keep coming back to watch. It means the world to me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit the little bell icon so you'll never miss a video. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.